So TikTok could soon have the same fate as the once popular app Vine, well, at least here in the U.S. Senator Marco Rubio did introduce a bill in the Senate this week that would ban TikTok from operating all across the country. Lawmakers are concerned about the short-form video app's parent company ByteDance and its affiliation with China. Well, joining us now to discuss is Chris Pierson, founder and CEO of Black Cloak, which is a cybersecurity and privacy protection platform. Chris, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Welcome to the show. Can you briefly walk us through what this proposed legislation entails?
Yeah, so the Antisocial CCP Act, as it's called, is really designed to block and prohibit all transactions by social media companies that are controlled or influenced by countries of concern. Of course, that means China, but it also includes other U.S. foreign adversaries like Russia, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, potentially even Venezuela. So other countries as well. And it's not directed at TikTok necessarily. Obviously, this is what is spurring this legislation, but it will equally apply to all sorts of companies that are in that same social media group.
Yeah, Chris, and obviously, kind of a concern here is TikTok and its use of data. It has insisted that U.S. user data is safely stored outside of China, which it says should keep it out of reach of government officials. But why is there reason to believe otherwise?
I mean, look, first, the TikTok information security team, this is a great team, great people, really top notch. But just merely where you're storing the data, so saying that data is actually stored inside the U.S. is only one part of the equation. If a company, if servers, if people, if your employment is controlled by a foreign company, really access and control of that data is at that parent company. They can go ahead and do what they want to. They can go ahead and have data transferred, have data accessed by others, and even put in their own individuals to go ahead and siphon out that data. There's no real proof of that actually happening that's been made public. So we have to be very, very careful about that. Those are not allegations. That is something that could happen. So really it comes down to the foreign ownership and control of TikTok being within ByteDance, which is a Chinese company, and Chinese companies must, under China law that comes in from 2017, must hand over data that is requested by the CCP. So it is something where if they request the data, it doesn't matter where it is, they're going to have to turn it over to the CCP.
All right, Chris, let's talk about exactly what type of data is being compromised. I want to mention, too, that we had a privacy policy update allowing TikTok to collect biometric data from users. So what sort of data are we talking about? Why is it so potentially dangerous if that scenario that you just mentioned were to come true?
Yeah, so the type of data that we're talking about is potentially of the real disastrous type is going to be geolocation, IP address, and the biometric information. So geolocation and IP address, if you think about politicians, folks that are in the military, intelligence circles, if you actually know where it is that they are, you can tell things about U.S. policy, U.S. secrets. You can tell where those remote locations may or might be around the world. If you're talking about high-profile people, business executives, corporate executives, once again, you can find out where they are, where they're frequenting, those people around them, even potentially read into future transactions. So that geolocation and IP address data is really, really important there. And of course, biometrics. Biometric data is going to be the key to unlocking everything in the future, whether it be airlines, whether it be transportation, whether it be state, federal government services, really important data. And as we know, that's number one, being made public, but the actual algorithms running behind it, the actual ownership of that information, it's all there within TikTok. So this is definitely information that could be misused, could be used for nefarious purposes, could be used for other nation state or intelligence activities.
And now we know that the pace of technology moves much faster than the pace of government, particularly here in the U.S., and we have heard warnings from members of the Intelligence Committee. So do you think our government officials are moving too slowly on this?
Well, I think there are a few different things here to break down. First is, as it relates to federal government employees, state government employees, there's one population. So should you be restricting applications that are foreign owned that may be collecting data and may prove a weakness or weak point in your overall operation security? And the answer is yes, not just regard to TikTok, but yes, with regard to any of those apps that are on any government owned devices. As it relates to general populace and the regular population in the United States, once again, that becomes a little bit of a tricky situation where the U.S. should protect folks in terms of privacy and cybersecurity issues, should be out there leading. What we see all too often is that it takes the government legislation a little bit too much time to move on some of those higher level technology issues. This one's going to be a difficult one.
Chris, thank you so much for your time and for that insightful conversation. That's Chris Pierson, founder and CEO of Black Cloak, which is a cybersecurity and privacy protection platform. Baker?